There's a saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And that may be true, but here's what they don't tell you. Those fires of anger don't just burn, they transform. Anger, when handled the right way, can lead to breakthroughs, can lead to deeper intimacy. And to be totally honest, it can lead to some seriously hot and passionate sex when done right. Because knowing how to play with fire isn't about avoiding the flames. It is about learning to stand strong in them. If you can show her that you can handle her emotions, especially when you are the one who lit the match, not only can you survive the storm, but you can build trust, intimacy, and a sex life that just keeps getting better. Before we dive in, if you want my practical tips for better relationships and better sex, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Because the truth is, the more you master emotional connection, the hotter things get in the bedroom. Let's get into it. Tip number 1, hold the emotional fort, aka practice masculine containment. Think of your woman's emotions as a raging ocean, wild, deep, sometimes unpredictable. Your job is to be the sturdy seawall that she can crash into. You don't calm the waves or fight against the ocean. You stand steady and strong, showing her that she's safe enough to feel everything. When she sees that you're not freaking out or shutting down or getting defensive, it sends a very powerful message. You are solid. And there's nothing sexier to a woman than a man who can hold her emotions with confidence and care. Steady men create safety for women, and safe women create wild and uninhibited passion. I am not saying that you should stand for abuse. That's a different video. Tip number 2, validate her feelings. Validation is like pouring water onto the flames without putting out the fire of your connection. You don't have to agree with everything that she's saying, but you do get to acknowledge that her feelings are real and valid. A simple, I hear you, it makes sense that you feel that way works like magic. When a woman feels understood, hell, when a man feels understood, it melts our defenses and makes room for closeness. Because the more heard and supported that she feels, the easier it is to drop back into trust and intimacy. And that is where incredible sex comes from. Tip number 3, listen like a pro. Listening isn't just about hearing the words that she's speaking, it is about showing her that you really get it. Active listening, without interrupting, without making excuses, without trying to win some kind of an argument, is where it's at. The best way to do this is to repeat back to her what she is saying. Like, it sounds like you're upset because I wasn't listening earlier. Is that right? Questions like this actually bring you closer to understanding each other, and when she sees that you are with her and that you are on the same side of the problem trying to tackle it together, then the tension is going to soften. Think of listening as foreplay. It is what opens the door to connection. It is what creates the possibility for resolution. It is what allows for us to move forward. Because when we don't feel understood, we generally unconsciously will dig our heels in and do our absolute best until we feel like we are gotten. Tip number 4, be accountable and make change if needed. Here's a secret that shouldn't be a secret. Nothing diffuses anger faster than taking responsibility for your part. So if you messed up, just own it. Say, you're right, I should not have said that. I see how I hurt you. I'm sorry. This is the art of de-escalation. But here's the thing, refer back to tip number 1, stay strong. Do not spiral in shame. When you crumble into feeling less than or not enough or I'm the worst, you begin to make it about your feelings. And then suddenly, instead of being comforted, she's the one who has to step in and comfort you. Instead, this is your chance to show her that you are strong enough to listen and take feedback and commit to growing. No one is expecting you to be perfect, and accountability isn't a weakness. In fact, it is sexy as a man who owns his mistakes shows that he is a man that is trustworthy and desirable. Kind of an advanced tip because it requires us to check our ego. But understand, checking our ego doesn't mean that we lost. It doesn't mean that we're wrong. It doesn't mean anything about us. It means that we are getting, again, on the same side of tackling something together. Tip number 5, bring it back up later to ensure resolution. Conflict doesn't always wrap up with a neat little bow on the the end. Sometimes you actually need to revisit the conversation in order to get it complete. You can approach her by saying, hey, I've been thinking about what you said earlier and I want to check in on how you're feeling. This isn't beating a dead horse. This is building trust. When you show her that her feelings matter, even after the argument, even after the emotional release, that's like gold for intimacy. Women crave feeling seen and heard and held, and that kind of care strengthens your bond and creates emotional safety, which leads to deeper, more passionate connection. I mean, put yourself in her shoes. You would actually want the same if the roles were reversed. And tip number 6, this is really important. Remember, conflict isn't foreplay. Makeup sex can be incredible. There's no denying that. But if you find yourself in a relationship where there's conflict or fighting just to feel the heat, you're playing with the kind of fire that just burns rather than transforms. Passion that is built on chaos can feel exciting, but it is short-lived and the consequences are not worth it. Real, long-lasting sexual chemistry comes from trust and play and connection, not tension, not conflict, not fighting. Channel that energy into building something solid, because when you create passion from a foundation of safety and stability, the spark doesn't just return, it actually thrives in those conditions. And here, the other really important part to all of this, tip number 7, know when her anger crosses the line. There is a thin line between healthy anger and abusive behavior. It can be very hard to spot the difference when you are in the thick of it. It is important to recognize that though. If she is yelling, name calling, becoming physically aggressive, that's not okay. It is one thing to hold space for her emotions, but you do not need to, and I highly recommend that you do not sacrifice your own emotional health and well-being. Protecting yourself is as important as showing up for her. So if something feels out of control, be honest with yourself and seek support if needed. Respect is a non-negotiable for both of you. And if she is pushing up against your boundaries or using her anger as an excuse to do things that violate your privacy, violate your autonomy, violate your physical body, that is not okay. That is not acceptable. Either get professional help or you may have to consider leaving the relationship if that becomes a pattern. Here's the bottom line. Handling a woman's anger isn't about fixing anything. It's not about changing her, and it is certainly not about avoiding the storm. The question is whether or not you can be her anchor. When you stay calm and listen and show her that her feelings matter, you're not just resolving conflict, you're building intimacy and trust and a sex life that is deeper and hotter and more connected than ever before. If you want to master emotional connection and learn how to use these flames to transform your relationship both inside and outside of the bedroom, then let's work together. Click on the link in the description to learn more about coaching with me and my team. And if you loved this video, don't forget to hit subscribe while you are down there so that you won't miss any more tips on creating the kind of intimacy and passion that you deserve. Go out and be that anchor and watch how the fires of connection burn even brighter. I'm Caitlin V. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you here next week.